Russia will use nuclear weapons in case there are threats to the country. Russian coastal defense missile system called Bastion completely destroyed mall drone shots in Mariupol, Ukraine, through a Molotov on the walls of Red Square. Ukrainian man collecting his belongings. Current condition of Mariupol, Ukraine. What's up, investors? It's the Russian Dude, and this is your most recent daily update on Russian-Ukrainian war. This is how one neighborhood in Kiev, Ukraine looks at this very moment. Earlier this night, a missile was captured on camera exploding in Kiev, Ukraine. These are the pictures of the interior of allegedly Putin's mega yacht called Scheherazade, which is worth more than 700 million euros. Ukrainian military medic Gennady Druzenko urged to sterilize captured Russian soldiers. Later, he also apologized for his statement. The United States, along with several European countries such as Poland, France, Germany, Lithuania, Netherlands, Sweden and the United Kingdom, have signed a joint statement on the urgent necessity to upgrade Ukrainian air defense. The Prime Minister of Russia, Mikhail Mishustin, said that Russians must have access to all the required medicine despite the sanctions. This is the video from Mariupol, Ukraine. The former US ambassador to Russia, Michael McFaul, said that Russia should continue exporting oil to democratic countries, but do it for free. The representatives of Ukrainian government hope that the president of China, Xi Jinping, will talk with the president of Ukraine, Zelensky. The ambassador of China to the United States mentioned that China will not send weapons to Russia. In this video you can see Ukrainian soldiers barricading inside one of the schools in Odessa, Ukraine. This is the current condition of completely destroyed mall Retroville in Kiev, Ukraine. The press secretary of Russia, Dmitry Peskov, said that Russia will use nuclear weapons in case there are threats to the country, though he never specified what kind of threats will trigger the use of nukes, which basically means at this point it can be literally anything. And if you want to continue receiving such daily updates, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, feel free to share this video with your friends or anywhere else you want. Thanks so much, and let's continue. The representative of Russian government, Sultan Hamzayev, said that he wants to prohibit all the international signs inside Russia. This map shows which countries imposed sanctions on Russia and which countries completely terminated their diplomatic relations. And as for now, only Ukraine and Micronesia completely terminated diplomatic relations with Russia. One political party in Russia called Fair Russia now allows citizens to report on other citizens, which basically means if you suspect your neighbor that he is producing fakes about Russian-Ukrainian war, you can inform on him, just like in the USSR. One of parks in Austria has this memorial, which basically means that some Europeans also recognize that Ukraine attacked Donetsk in the past, killing somewhere around 3,000 civilians. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Latvia says that all frozen Russian assets, both government and individuals, must be used for the post-war reconstruction of Ukraine. Around 42% of Russians are expecting international companies which left Russian market to be back within 1 year, and around 26% of people expect that the return will take more than 5 years. Here is another video of Ukrainian forces hiding inside Ukrainian schools. In this video you can see poor Ukrainian man collecting his belongings in his completely destroyed apartment in Kiev, Ukraine. In this video you can see bombings as taken from drone shots in Mariupol, Ukraine. Some people in Syria support Russian army. Malaysia and Vietnam did not support anti-Russian sanctions, and both countries said that they will keep neutrality. The number of visitors on websites where you can download illegal software, movies and games in Russia has increased by 21% during first 2 weeks of March. This video allegedly shows the airstrikes on the airport in Kramatorsk, Ukraine. Around 347,000 people from Donetsk and Lugansk have escaped to Russia. In this video you can see the military vehicles of the United States Army getting closer to the border between Belarus and Poland. This chart shows which countries along with which currencies have dominated the world. Members of the main political party of Russia, Russia United, are no longer allowed to leave the country without the permission of the head of the party. This is the way some commercial zones in Kharkiv, Ukraine look at this very moment. The Moscow Stock Exchange still continues to trade the government bonds of Russia, but as of this Wednesday you are now also allowed to short sell these securities. National Security Advisor of the United States Jake Sullivan says that he wants Russia gone from G20 summit. In response to Jake Sullivan wanting to kick out Russia Russia from G20, China said that not a single member of G20 has this right. China also mentioned that despite Russian reputation, Russia is still a very valuable member of this group. Since the beginning of military operation on Ukraine, the Russian stock market literally tanked. And now we hear more and more news about China thinking about engaging Taiwan. And because of this, many investors started to take out their money from Chinese stocks as well. The Moscow Stock Exchange will finally resume the trading of the regular shares this Thursday, March 24th. But as of now, only 33 companies will be allowed to be traded. And all of these companies, such as Sberbank, Gazprom and Nornickel, are part of Moscow Exchange Index. People in Russia still do not like other Russians putting Z markings on their cars. This is the way the interest rate in Russia has skyrocketed last week, and at this very moment it is 20.5%. Just for comparison purposes, the interest rates in the United States are 0.5%. The president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, said that all the payments for Russian natural gas must be now paid in Russian ruble, which means that first thing Europe has to do is to exchange its currency to rubles. And supposedly this is one of the first things Russia wants to do in order to save its national currency. And in fact, this announcement did help Russian ruble. It went down from 104 rubles for $1 to 101 ruble for $1. Previously, Saudi Arabia also mentioned that they want to start accepting Chinese yuan for sending oil to China, which basically means that these two things greatly impact the reputation of the US dollar as international currency. But there is no need to worry that the US dollar will be completely terminated. No. In the worst case scenario for American currency, the dollar will just simply lose its share as one of the biggest international reserve currency. One guy in Russia threw a Molotov on the walls of Red Square. Starting April 1st, the policemen in Yekaterinburg, Russia, will no longer be able to use international cars, mainly because they will no longer be able to be serviced. Zhanna Aglakova, the journalist from the biggest propagandistic channel in Russia, called Channel Number 1, has retired after working for 20 years. And she said that some of the things that are presented on the TV channel are true, but the way they are presented is very propagandistic. Last week, Visa and MasterCard has stopped doing business on the territory of Russia, which basically means that all the cards issued inside Russia are no longer accepted outside of the country. And as of recently, some entrepreneurs started organizing tours to Uzbekistan, where you can open Visa and MasterCard cards. And the reason why would Russians want to do this, it is because these cards are technically issued outside of Russia, which basically means that you can continue using them outside of Russia. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia says that they are currently working on sanctions against European Union and the UK. Some schools in Russia put pictures of soldiers that are fighting in Ukraine, justifying their actions. This is the video from Chernigov, Ukraine. Mikhailo Podolyak, who is the advisor to the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, is asking Western countries to send more weapons to Ukraine. This is the video of Russian coastal defense missile system called Bastion in action. Besides sugar, Russia is now also experiencing the lack of supply of printing paper, and because of this some suppliers are no longer able to sell purely white paper. Since YouTube might be banned in the nearest future in Russia, some content creators started immigrating to RuTube, which is the equivalent of YouTube. And as for now, it is reported that whenever you upload a video on RuTube, it is manually checked whether there are any fakes about Russian army. But as of recently, RuTube said that if you decide to connect your social services account with your RuTube account, you will be able to avoid this lengthy process. With the only one big problem here is that social services accounts of Russians contain all of their personal information, including full name and address, which basically means if your video contains something that Russian government doesn't like, it will be extremely easy to find you. Some people in Mariupol, Ukraine are reporting that some streets that lead to the exit of the city are blocked. Not that recently, the former mayor of Yekaterinburg, Evgeny Roizman, liked one post on Instagram which Russian government didn't like. And right now, some government officials in Russia want Evgeny Roizman to be prosecuted for treason. This is the current condition of Mariupol, Ukraine. The president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, asked the president of the US, Joe Biden, to not sanction Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich. And the reason for this request, it is because Roman Abramovich is working hard towards achieving faster peace on the territory of Ukraine. As for now, around 61% of Serbian population thinks that the US and NATO are the only ones who should be held responsible for military invasion of Ukraine. And the reason for this it is because NATO provoked Russia to send troops to Ukraine. Thank you so much for your support, stay safe and see you next time.